Hi, my name is Richard Ehrlich. Welcome to another episode of Rich and the Bull. I'm here with my good friend Nick Fortune, commonly referred to as the Bull. We're here to help you think like the rich and sort out the bull so you can make smart and sound financial decisions. Today's topic is going to be about land trust ripoffs. Now, Nick, when I hear that, it's kind of like, whoa. Help us understand exactly what is a land trust.
So, a lot of you that are out there that are real estate investors, you have often heard these alleged gurus pounding the pavement over the entire country talking about this be-all, end-all to asset protection. It is a vehicle that is a trust that when you put a property through it, then you get anonymity. Your name comes off title, with the idea being that if there is a frivolous lawsuit with a tenant or somebody coming after you from a car accident or something of this nature, that the lawyer will simply look up your asset list, not see anything, and decide they don't want to come after you. Of course, that is all a bunch of bull. What really is going on here is that you have a trust, this land trust, where you can move properties in, but if you think about it, when you're a tenant and you're living in somebody's house, do you know who you pay rent to? Of course. So if you fall off the roof or stick your finger in a light socket or slip and fall or whatever, you know who owns the property, right? And if it's not that individual, maybe it's a property manager, right? Now, does the property manager know who the property management company works for? Yeah, so when you fall off the roof or slip on the pavement or stick your finger in a light socket, they contact the property management company who contacts you. What about if you're driving in a car? You run into the back of somebody. So one of the things that people don't understand is that a good litigator is going to get to the bottom of who owns the asset very quickly by a series of questions.
Nick, I've been seeing a lot of this around the country, hearing a lot about this buzz. What are some of our listeners today, what can they do to at least be aware of what's going on and help them avoid some of these misnomers and help them avoid getting ripped off by these land trusts?
So one thing that you got to understand is a land trust by itself is not going to protect you. So remember how I said that a good litigator is going to get to the bottom of what your assets are in a couple questions? So when you're getting deposed or you have subpoenas for information, or let's just say somebody goes and tries to grab your tax records, right? 4605T, they do a request. And they go out there and they see on your Schedule E's that you're paying or deducting your property. They know that you own real estate, okay? If I go in there and I ask you questions and I say, hey, Rich, do you own that property? If you're in court, you're going to have to tell me yes. If you say no, and I pull out your Schedule E's or your tax returns, you're going to be in contempt, right? The judge hates you. You're already going to lose. It's just a matter of how much. So the answer is using a land trust alone is detrimental to your financial and asset protection health. However, using land trust in conjunctions with other structures such as entities and things of that nature work fantastic.
Right, so that's interesting. So two questions. One, why are so many people falling into these traps? And two, you're one of the foremost, tax authorities out there with tax strategies. What are some of the things that our listeners today can try to at least start planning on and help avoid some of these big issues?
Yeah, so that's a good question. To the first one, there are no tax deductions inside of a land trust, okay?
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, that's a big deal. The second thing that happens is that people go out there, and it blows my mind. They'll spend $300,000 getting an investment property, but then they don't want to spend any money structuring their stuff. I mean, that
makes no sense.
It baffles me, okay?
Oh my God.
These are probably some of the largest investments you'll ever make in your life, and they're stepping on a dollar to save a dime. You have to be willing to spend a few bucks to be able to structure your assets in a way that not only reduces your tax liability, but at the end of the day really truly gives you protection. And you're not going to find that inside of a land trust. It's a good vehicle to bounce properties in and out of to a structure like an entity of some sort, depending on what it is that you're doing. But just leaving in a land trust because you don't want to spend money or you don't want to have to file other taxes or things of that nature, a tax return, is really short-sighted, and it will cost you. What is the statistic? 40 to 50% of all business owners or investment people that own real estate will get sued in their lifetime.
Right.
I mean, that
it's pretty scary.
It's a pretty high number. So you know, the chances of that you're going to get sued is a 1 in 2, and at the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck there with something that you're hallucinating is going to protect you. At the end of the day, will not.
This is some pretty extremely valuable information. You know, I go back and I ask ourselves, you know, on this program, we talk about sifting through the myths and misconceptions and getting the facts. And what it sounds like, Nick, once again, is being proactive, being ahead of the curve and saying, hey, look, there are tools out there, right? But how do you put those tools together so they actually are doing what you want it to do for you?
You got to think about this, right? If all you ever had to do as a real estate investor was set up a land trust, then nothing else would need to exist, right? If that was the be-all, end-all. People think they're going to swallow this pill and that it's going to be magic, right? And they're going to end up in la-la land right there, completely protected from anything that's out there. Now, what you do need to understand is that when you're working through this structure and strategy, it has to be a part of such. It's not an entity that stands alone. It's never ever one thing, right? There's no magic bullet. There's no magic pill. You need to do this in conjunction with each other and figure out, by getting good advice, looking at what it is from a 30,000-foot view, what are you trying to do? What are you investing in? What are your investments comprised of? This happens to be dealing in the world of real estate, but anything you do as an investor, anything you do as an entrepreneur, you want to get a look at a second opinion and a look at what it is that you're doing and find out if you are doing things the best way, or is there perhaps maybe something even better that you can do that'll allow you to protect yourself more and keep more money.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm always talking about with clients is saying, you know, if there was a piece of information that was costing you a lot of money now or in the future, when would you want to know about it? Now or after you make that investment? And all too often, you know, you and I, as we interact with clients all over the country, they're coming to us after they've had they've invested the money. And so why we do this in Rich and the Bull is to be the financial coach for you guys, to help you make smart decisions before you actually invest the money. And I think I really commend you guys for doing that, because that's so important.
Yeah, the old sayings, you know, you can't unring the bell, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I know they're a cliche, but they're all true. I mean, once has passed and you're affected by the decisions you make, it's too late.
Right.
You need to be proactive. Everything that we're talking about has to do with being proactive. Doing things as part of a plan and being proactive is the name of the game, and what you don't do will cost you a bunch of money down the road.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that with us, because you know what? Unless people are getting this information, they're not going to know about it. So I think it's important that you guys don't keep us a secret, right? I mean,
always, guys, and like and follow us on Facebook, and remember to subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Like and share and comment on our videos. Tell us what it is that you like, what you don't like. We have thick skin, okay? And tell us, are there topics that you want to learn about? Because if there are, we want to bring them to you. So,
and by the way, this show is about you guys, right? I mean, that's not about us. So that's why, you know, I think it's a great point you talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, enter in your comments, and then that'll give you a chance to enter into our free gift card with an Amazon gift card, $25 gift card. Stay tuned for our next episode. Take the bulls by the financial horn, guys. Don't mess with the bull, but remember, always share and like us. And remember, it's all about being proactive. We love you guys, and we appreciate all your comments and following us. We'll see you on the next episode.